Good morning. We are on Facebook Live this morning and we're talking about our favorite subject, the government. Actually, that's not the truth, but I think you caught that cynicism in my voice. So I'm watching for comments. If you've got comments, you can post them in there for any questions. There's a lot, I don't want to say a lot of confusion, but the PPP funds, kind of in hindsight, when the first draw came out and the government truly was trying to help the American small business owners, then they just made this money available, but they didn't think about how it was going to get to everyone, what was going to happen. And we're still dealing with that, seeing as bookkeepers, our company, is that we're barely seeing about 10% of those that receive PPP funds the first go around even get the application from their banks in order to get forgiveness on it. Most of the time, the forgiveness part is pretty easy because nobody expected COVID to go as long and as hard as it did when those initial funds were, which is one of the reasons why the initial funds were for 8 weeks and then it extended to 24 weeks. So, if you've got all of the forgiveness documents come from your bank, and you've got to wait until they give those to you and then follow the instructions about what they're asking for, but they are asking for documentation. So that's the first draft, the first draw. We're going to call it the first draw PPP funds. So now the government has come out because of the impact of COVID on businesses and said, small businesses need more help, and so we've got this second draw of PPP funds. And the best part is that there's so much more information available out there for you this time around to get it. Part of it is showing that if you got it the first time, then it's a little bit easier than if you didn't get it the first time. But what the government is looking for, and this you have to go through your local bank. The SBA website also will find a lender that is in your area that have funds available to you. And you've got to show that your gross receipts, they're basing everything on gross receipts. So in your business, gross receipts is all that money that's coming in the door that's not sales tax, but everything beyond that. So anything that not sales tax, then you're capturing that total revenue, total income, gross receipts, all of these things, depending upon what you hear from me. Those are your top amount that come in the door. At that point, you've got to show that there is been a significant loss to you from the prior year, the same quarter. You're comparing quarters to quarters. And you're looking at 2019 when your business was operating normally versus 2020 when COVID was affecting your business. So choose a quarter, and you can do an analysis on your books if you've got your books well kept, and say that you do second quarter, which would be April 1st through June 30th of 2019, and compare your gross receipts to April 4th, 2020 to June 30th, 2020. In QuickBooks, you can have it immediately give a percentage difference, and in order to apply and to receive the funds, all you've got to show is that your gross receipts went down 25% or greater. For some businesses, it might be the third quarter, so you can go into July 1st through September 30th and do the same thing. Then right now they are stating that it's going to be a 1% interest rate with all sorts of different terms. Again, we're seeing those change, and what you need to use those numbers for, what you need to use those funds for, is to pay for your payroll. That's the main thing. The purpose of our PPP funds is to have the government make sure that we're keeping people employed, or we're keeping people getting a paycheck so that they can live and provide for their families. The maximum that you can apply for is 2.5 times your average payroll. And then those extra funds can go towards your rent expenses, utility expenses. But you're going to need to document all of that in order to be forgiven later on for it, which is what we're seeing in those forgiveness packages on the first draw. So there is, like I said, tons of information that is out there, and we keep up on it regularly here at Sum of All Numbers because our clients are dealing with that, and it affects your books and the way it is shown in your books, and for going forward to making sure that there's a good cash flow for your businesses so that you can stay solvent and keep in business. The one exception is that if you're in the accommodation or restaurant business, so those are your accommodation, meaning your housing and things that really truly have been impacted because of travel and because of the ability to eat out and stuff, that you can receive a little bit more financial assistance by the PPP funds. All right. Hey, reach out to us anytime here at Sum of All Numbers. You can get my direct number. I'm going to just put this right here on Facebook Live for you to reach out to me. It's 916-547-6772. I'll put that in the chat as well, so that you can reach out to me if you've got questions or want our advice or our expertise in helping you kind of navigate all of these things. All right. Have a fantastic day, a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.